We're at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C. It's the site of today's MEAC Digital Network telecast as the Bison host the Eagles of North Carolina Central right here on ESPN3. Hello, everyone. Charlie Neal, along with former North Carolina Central head coach Dr. Henry Frazier. We welcome you to the nation's capital. And, Coach, it was quite a shootout last year when these two teams played down in Durham, North Carolina. Today, the Eagles come in having won 7 straight against Howard. What's the key for them to make it 8 straight?
The keys for North Carolina Central this afternoon is running the football. Offensive line, defensive line play is going to be paramount in this football game.
Yeah, for the Bison, they're coming off of a devastating loss to the North Carolina A&T, one of the nation's top teams. What will Howard have to do to rebound and knock off the Eagles today?
They can't fall behind, Charlie. They have their offensive line is banged up. Their defensive line, they don't rush the passer. They don't protect the quarterback. So if they are to win this football game, they have to stay in the game, not fall behind early.
As for the key players, we start with the Eagles running back Isaiah Totten, the number 2 rusher in the MEAC.
He's a special running back. I'm telling you, he's second in the conference, and with Howard's defensive line banged up, I expect him to have a big day.
Well, for the Bison, they have to get the ball to Kyle Anthony. He's on the verge of breaking the school receiving record.
Yeah, his targets have been down the last few games, but I think, you got a good football player like Kyle. You just force the ball to him. Just let him go up and make plays for you. It can't hurt anything at this point.
When these two teams played last year, he caught 9 passes for 147 yards. It's the 24th meeting between North Carolina Central and Howard. And we'll be back with the kickoff of this MEAC matchup on ESPN3 in just a moment.
Flo's Filet and the limited time 14-ounce Delmonico. That's how steak is done. Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
Back here at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University, along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal, and this one about Flea Harrell's record. He set that when he was playing back here in the 90s, early 90s. Going up top again, Alay, the intended receiver, and he can't get a hold of it. And down defending on the play was Brian Mills, a cornerback junior out of Palmdale, California.
It went right through his hands. I mean, in a game, you got one win on the season. You have to make that catch. The ball was a perfectly passed right on the outside shoulder. And coming out early, targeting Kyle early, that's a great sign because he's one of your dynamic playmakers, and you want to get the ball in his hands.
So this drive started at their own 27. They're at the 41. And it is 2nd down and 10. Parsons behind his quarterback. Williams throwing a little screen pass. It comes to Parsons. Parsons has the first down across midfield and into North Carolina Central territory down to the 48-yard line.
I love the play call. North Carolina Central leads the conference in sacks, and they're rushing up the field, and you just allow those guys to get up the field, and then you throw a screen pass right off the break. It looks like one of the big boys up front is hurt. They have no room for injuries.
Yeah.
Howard offensive line.
That's Philip Fleming, senior out of Hopkins, South Carolina. One of the returning starters, the only returning starter for Howard on that offensive line. And like you said, they can ill afford to lose him in a game like today.
He's the leader up front. Hopefully it's just a little something he can just get some tape on there and get back in there because they're real thin on the offensive line. When you got your 2 pass completions for 2 first downs, this is very encouraging for Howard's offense.
Well, that's a mistake. I thought it was 78. It's 79 that's hurt. Dankwa, he's a freshman out of Toronto, Ontario. So he walks off under his own power. Meanwhile, it is a first down as Howard is moving the ball on this first possession as Cornwell, the tight end, goes to the far side. Alay goes over there with him. On this side, we get Anthony. And Parson goes in motion. The handoff to quarterback keeps it, and he gets down to the 45-yard line, a gain of 3 for Quentin Williams, the freshman out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, went to Wise High School, had a heck of a high school career here in the Washington, D.C. area.
Oh, yeah, he won one of the storied programs in this area with Coach Parrish as the head football coach. I've known Coach since he played college ball, and he does a great job at Wise High School. 2nd
down and 7. The pass inside to Cornwell. Cornwell on his feet has the first down, and inside the 35 to the 32-yard line goes the tight end, Michael Cornwell, the redshirt junior out of Owings Mill, Maryland, with his 19th reception of the year for Howard.
Hey, that's a great play. He actually just came a little play action, throw it to the slot receiver, a little screen. Again, they playing the screen game, which is that's a great game plan for a very aggressive defensive line.
First down and 10. Howard University has driven all the way from their own 27. Here's the quarterback, Williams, back to pass again. Again, Kyle Anthony with his second reception of the day, so he needs 4 to tie the record, 5 to break the record set by Flea Harrell. The record is 184 career receptions.
Good pass pro. The offensive line gave him time to get the quarterback, got the ball out of his hands quickly, and again, target that guy. I mean, he's a prolific wide receiver for you, on the verge of being the career best at Howard. They throw him the ball. And Central has chose to single cover him, so hey, why not? Just keep on throwing it out there.
And he's a big receiver. He's 6'3", and there's not a lot of people on defense that are that tall that can cover him. Cornwell goes in motion on 2nd and 5. And it's Parsons straight ahead, and Parsons has nowhere to go. It was an RPO, run-pass option on the quarterback. And
hey, Charlie, if he's reading what he's supposed to read, he's supposed to read the defensive end. Defensive end crash down, actually makes the play.
He should have kept the ball.
He walks in the end zone. They're going for 2 because they probably don't have a kicker to kick the extra point, but we'll talk about that if they score.
It is 3rd down and 5 with no gain on the play. Let's see what Howard does in this 3rd down conversion, which they are 33%, 7th in the conference in that department this year. The pass up top. He has a man there, and it's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver down there. And that was a lay.
That's his second drop of the day.
He's dropped 2. So
it's a perfect pass by the quarterback. 3rd down, money down, and he drops the ball.
And now we have a 4th down, and Coach Ron Prince, he's going for it.
Yeah.
They're 26%, 6 of 23 in 4th down conversion so far this year. Ball at the 29. They've got to get just inside the 24-yard line, between the 23 and 24, to pick up the 1st down. So let's see what they dial up here with their offensive coordinator, Mark Baycoat. Quarterback is sacked. So not only do they not get the 1st down, they lose yards. And North Carolina Central will take over at their own 35-yard line.
Very impressive defensive play. They wasn't going to sit back and just let you throw the ball. They bought the house. And again, Howard seemed ill-prepared to pick up the blitz. It's 4th down. You had your bunch set up there. I mean, you got to get the ball out your hands quick. And Central forced their hand and was able to get the sack on 4th down.
49th year for football in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. And when you look at some of the things that's happening in the conference right now, you've had Bethune-Cookman and North Carolina A&T and North Carolina and South Carolina State all with 1 loss. Of course, Florida A&M is unbeaten in conference play. Unfortunately, they cannot play for the championship this year as their quarterback has a little swing pass out in the flat. That's Davius Richard, the quarterback, who is a freshman out of Belgrade, Florida. So we're seeing 2 freshman quarterbacks in the game today.
Yeah, a little play action and a little swing pass, and not much on there, but looks like Coach Mo Wise, the offensive coordinator, he loves to throw the ball around the barnyard, but I tell you, they need to get that ball in Totten's hands as much as possible.
And behind the quarterback is Isaiah Totten, number 2 rusher, and he has the flip to the outside, trying to turn the corner, and he does, and he's run out of bounds right at the midfield stripe by Howard University. And coming up to make the stop defensively for the Bison was Kristen White.
Yeah, well, I said Rises. I guess that was the old head coach.
Moses Ware.
Yeah, we worked together at Bowie State, so I guess that's too much familiarity with North Carolina Central. There's a lot of names floating around in my head, but Moses is a graduate of Central and looking for big things on that offense.
1st down gain on that last run. And again, Totten on the carry, maybe a yard on the play, and that is it.
Yeah, we talked about that being the key, Howard defense being able to stop Totten. I think we're going to have a heavy dose of Totten today, Charlie. 25 is going to get his dose of carries and catches today.
He had a 112-yard game against Morgan State earlier this year. Last year, rushed for 768 yards, 8 touchdowns, and was 3rd in the conference in rushing. 2nd down and 9. Richard clapping his hands. Richard pass over the middle and has it complete to McDaniel. Ryan McDaniel, and he's still on his feet and down inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
It was a heads-up play. It was great coverage. He had a little drive route underneath, threw the ball, and he did not go down, and he kept on running.
McDaniel with the catch. That's the junior out of Sugar Land, Texas. He was a quarterback in high school. Quick pass out in the flat. And this time, not much running room. This time as Tyler Barnes is brought down immediately after making the catch.
Looked like the same play, but they ran into the other side, ran into the field. Howard was in the zone last time they were in man-to-man, so he just ran right to the flat defender.
Davius Richard out of Belgrade, Florida, third leading passer in the MEAC, the freshman who took over for Chauncey Caldwell. Caldwell was the quarterback of record a year ago. Came off the bench in the first game against Austin Peay and was not happy the fact that he was not starting this year and went into the transfer portal and has not been seen since as far as football is concerned.
That's the day we live in there. And I'm upset, hey, let me transfer. But look at that was a big-time play by Brokenberg. He actually, they tried to pull the backside guard and tackle. He just got in their hip pocket, chased him down for a loss.
3rd down and 12 now for North Carolina Central, who's ranked 5th in the conference in 3rd down conversions at 35%. Back to pass is Richard. Richard throws, has it complete, and it is short, not enough for a first down. It'll bring up a 4th down situation. Again, it was Barnes on the reception for the Eagles. Eagles came into the game 3-5 overall, 2-2 in conference play. And actually, they're in second place all alone. When you think about Bethune is 4-1, A&T and South Carolina State both 3-1, and those two will play each other today down in Orangeburg. A big game in the MEAC down in Orangeburg today.
Everything is shake out in the conference. Big time 4th down play here, Charlie.
Going forward is Richard. Stands in there, has a receiver, and as he gets to the first down marker, he is very close. I believe they have it. Yep. And it's complete again. This time it's McDaniel on the reception.
I like Richard. He shows a lot of poise. He stands in the pocket, and he threw the ball. It was actually short of the first down, but the receiver actually ended up getting it.
This time it's Totten trying to go left, cuts it back to the middle, and brought down by a couple of blue jerseys of Howard University. And coming out of the pile with the ball, although it won't matter, is Ray Williams.
As North Carolina Central looking to go real up-tempo right now. They're snapping the ball.
Before you can breathe.
Yeah, we got to get these plays in real fast.
Here's Richard with an empty backfield. Had a man open, now throws it away.
Yeah, he threw it over there to the tackle out there. I don't know why he's out there. I don't know. There's some kind of unbalanced line or something, but that was a poised play because he'd have thrown it to him. It would have been a penalty.
That was Devin Jordan. They may get a intentional grounding penalty if there's no eligible receiver in the area.
They'll talk about it. There's the flag.
There goes the flag. Our referee today, Jason Sostman.
That's a good call. I mean, he was just standing out there all by himself. I don't know if there was supposed to be some kind of screen or something, but.
Yeah, Soisman is the referee today and the crew, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference crew. And it's a loss of down. So it'll bring up a 3rd down, 3rd and 15. They converted their last on the 4th down conversion on this drive that started at their own 35-yard line.
Not a lot of real estate now, so you want to try to get half of that and possibly go for a field goal. You don't try to get the whole 15. It'll be tough.
Empty backfield again. Richard stands in there under pressure, and he could have been sacked and wasn't, and is still on his feet and still running, and finally knocked out of bounds at about the 17-yard line, but way short of a first down. He still needs about 8 yards or 9 yards to get a first down. It'll be 4th and 9.
Yeah, but you gave the field goal kicker a better opportunity to get some points on the board, but that was an opportunity for the defensive line. They only rushed 3, they 8. That was a poised decision by the quarterback not to force the ball, and then they got an opportunity to try to get some points.
Olivo, it'll be a 34-yard field goal. He's 10 of 12 in field goals this year. Longest was 40. The kick is up. It's long enough, and it is good. No good. Sorry about that. It's no good. Off to the right. So they missed the field goal from 34 yards out. Back with more. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3. It's
done. Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
Welcome back to Green Stadium and MEAC Football on ESPN3. Charlie Neal, along with Henry Frazier and Howard University with their second possession, starting at their own 20-yard line. No score between the Bison and the Eagles here on this MEAC Digital Network telecast. Cornwell in motion. Quarterback keeping. Quentin Williams throws to the near side and has it complete to Cornwell. And Cornwell steps out of bounds at about the 27, 28-yard line after a gain of about 6 or 7. Let's make it 7. It'll be second down and 3.
Nice first down play. Little play action. Move the pocket. Get the quarterback outside. Easy completion.
This time, a little quick screen. Here's the third reception of the day for Kyle Anthony. And they really have gang tackling him over there. Maybe a yard gain at most. And again, he's 3 receptions away from tying the school record of 184 career receptions set by Flea Harrell.
I think he's going to break it today, Charlie. If I'm a betting man, I think today is going to get, if you throwing little hitches to him and quick passes to him, going to get it done at home.
Last year when these two teams played, Anthony caught 9 passes for 147 yards. Didn't get into the end zone on a 40-35 loss by Howard University. This time it's Parsons straight ahead, gets the first down across the 30 to the 31.
Good strong run inside of there. They motioned over to the trips, which the linebacker kind of loosened up, was able to give him an alley to get him a pick up a good tough 3-4 yards. And what I've noticed, Charlie, they're actually giving Anthony one-on-one coverage on the outside. Sometimes Howard's putting them in the slot. But you keep him on the outside, and you want to go man-to-man coverage, throw those fade routes to him.
Here's a little screen pass to the outside, and Anthony trying to get around the corner. Maybe a yard, and that's it again. That's his 4th reception. And again, he's getting close to the record, but not getting any yards.
I think it looks like the record is very important today. We'll throw hitches to him, get him the catches, and but what's going to happen is North Carolina Central keep coming up. If you notice the defensive backs, they keep coming up on these hitches. You're going to get you a little hitch and go real
somewhere
soon.
Along the line. He's going to break all that, right?
It's coming. It may not come to him. He'll be a decoy.
Right.
But you watch these safeties over top.
Second down and 8. Straight ahead. Parsons out to about the 38-yard line. So Dedrick Parsons on the carry. Jerome Foster, the outside linebacker there to make the stop defensively for North Carolina Central. So it's a third down. We'll call it a long 3.
Yeah, Foster's a tackling machine. He's 16th in the conference in tackle. He's wearing number 1 today. He flies around to the football. He seeks that football, Charlie.
And is the team's number 2 tackler. As a quarterback, Quentin Williams has his team set. Going back to pass. Under pressure. Has been sacked once today. That's the second time he's been sacked this afternoon. That's the 46th sack that Howard has given up so far this season.
We talked about this, Charlie, in the beginning. They're giving up sacks. Central's number 1 in sacks. On third down, Central's bringing pressure. Howard had max protection. They only put 3 guys in the route. The young quarterback got to get rid of the ball. You only needed 3 yards. It should be something short. Again, that goes to protection and play calling. They go hand in hand.
So now we have a new gentleman punting for Howard University. That's Damian Gillespie, and it's end over end. It takes a Howard University bounce, believe it or not, and it dies down right at about the 25, 26-yard line.
You can't count on those kind of rolls all the time. That was really a bad punt. They caught a break.
And there's a timeout on the field. No score here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3 between Howard and North Carolina Central.
What would you like the power to do?
Welcome back to Washington, D.C. in Green Stadium, Howard University in North Carolina Central. Charlie Neal and Henry Frazier in the booth today. First down and 10. Here's Totten trying to turn the corner and go to the right side, and not a whole lot there for him, maybe 2 yards, out to about the 28-yard line, where it'll be second down and 2.
They got a little up-tempo offense going. One thing about Trey Oliver, the head coach of North Carolina Central, he's like, hey, there's no upperclassmen no seniors on the offense. They got all underclassmen starting on the offense, and he's definitely invested into the future of North Carolina Central, being an alum, and I think they definitely got the right guy to lead their program.
No question about it. Back to pass, and the quarterback. Boy, I'll tell you what a blitz that was coming that time from Aaron Walker from Howard University, number 27, coming from his linebacker spot. Third team all preseason MEAC selection and the co-captain today in this contest. He came with a vengeance, didn't he?
That was a good call from the defensive side. It seemed like it was a delayed zone blitz from the outside. Once they realized what was going on, they slid the protection. He came hot off the corner, but the quarterback still stood in there big time, Charlie.
He got the ball off.
Yeah.
That was the key.
That was me. I'd have ducked and did all types of things, but I like this young quarterback.
I remember you as a quarterback.
Yeah, I look like a lineman there, Charlie.
Here goes Richard. Back to pass. Has it swung out in the flat. And it's going to be way short of a first down. Good defense again. Howard there to wrap up. And again, it was Aaron Walker, the linebacker, who made sure the first down wasn't gained. It'll be 4th and 6 and a punting situation once again for the Eagles.
You know, that was a good defensive possession for Howard's defense. They did some good things. They only gave up 4 or 5 yards on this. And again, not hurting themselves. And now they're getting the offense the ball back. It should be in decent field position.
And the deep man is Dominic Logan Neely. And we're going to get a running into the kicker on Howard University. And not a good penalty that time for number 37 for Howard University, Ian Wheeler out of Houston, Texas.
Oh, little freshman. I hope it may, if it's a 5-yarder, it'll be probably about 4th and 1. Will Coach Oliver roll the dice? I mean, kid, it wasn't a block. You could tell because they set up the return. Why are you running in there? Why are you even getting close to the guy?
Well, let's see what they're going to do. Are they going to have him kick it over? He could decline it and take it there, or it'll be re-kick it from. I would take the penalty and re-kick it because it would push them further deeper.
It may.
Down the field.
I'm looking for the flags to see which way. It's a little slight breeze, but not much out there.
But I don't think it was roughing the kicker. I think it was running into the kicker.
Which is about a 5-yard penalty. And yeah.
They declined it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wouldn't do much. You got the ball off. He was able to flip the field. So.
All right. They're taking a timeout. We'll step aside. No score. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Blissful state of doneness. So let's get after it. What would you like the power to do?
Back here at Green Stadium, Howard University, founded in 1867. Dr. Wayne Frederick is the president. This is the 150th year for NCAA football and the 49th year for football in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. And the handoff straight ahead, Parsons, and nowhere to go. Lost maybe a yard on the play.
It can't be reading the defense. This has got to be predetermined because even if you gave the jet sweep, he's still running. Even if the quarterback kept it, he's still running. So, I mean, they got a lot of movement going on, but I don't know if they're reading what's going on, what North Carolina Central defense is doing.
2nd down and 11. Back to pass is Quentin Williams. Throws it over the middle. Has it complete to the tight end Cornwell. And Cornwell keeps his balance and gets up to about the 38-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down.
That's a good play. Good positive yards. Got about 6 or 7 yards now. You got a manageable 3rd down coming up.
Haley along with Anthony go to the top of your screen. Again, Williams back to pass. And gets it out to Gilliam. Damian Gilliam has the 1st down across midfield into Central Territory and out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Looks like Howard adjusted to the 3rd down pressure that North Carolina Central has been bringing. And he was able to slide the protection the correct way to quarterback.
I said Gilliam is Gillespie, rather. Damian Gillespie. 1st down and 10 at the 45. Alien motion, play action, and a run pass option for the quarterback. And Quentin Williams takes it down inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line.
He took a hit. He took a hit.
Looked like he's a little slow getting up, isn't he?
Yeah. And that,
he's getting up on his own. He said, look, don't come out here don't bring no stretcher. Don't bring a stretcher out here for me. I'm coming back in this game. Wizards going to take a timeout. That's the end of the first quarter here. No score between Howard and North Carolina Central.
Like the power to do.
As we start the second quarter here, no score between Howard and North Carolina Central. North Carolina Central School founded in 1910, and their president is Dr. Joseph O'Kinley. As we try to turn the corner with Parson, and Parson loses a couple of yards back to the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Missed the hole, Charlie. It was perfect. It was blocked well inside. That was an inside play. They pulled the guard, boom, kick out. He wanted to bounce it.
Ron Prince in his first year, an App State grad, Appalachian State, 92. Last year was coaching at Michigan. Back to pass is Quentin Williams. Stands in there, under pressure, and he is sacked. And the 44 was there, number 1 rather, Foster, Jerome Foster, who sometimes wears 44, is wearing number 1 today, was there to make the sack. And so that's the 3rd time today that the quarterback has been sacked.
We talked about it. I mean, but you get man-to-man coverage. When you identify as man-to-man coverage, find your best matchup and throw the football. You don't have time to sit there and read. And Central brought 8. You only have 6 in there to block. So get rid of the football.
Damian Gillespie.
Oh, no, he's keeping it.
He's going to keep it. And he's trying to get to the 1st down. He was back in the punting situation. Let's see where they mark it. He may be a yard shy.
He dove for it instead of just keep running. The 1st down.
He didn't make it, I don't think. I think he's going to be a yard shy. He had to get to the 35. He came down. His knee came down at the 36.
He had it. He had the angle. He just actually tried to dive down like he didn't want to get hit. You done already committed to the fake, son. Just run through the 1st down.
Oh. 1 yard short of the yard to gain. Well, they didn't punt. They went for it on down, so now the ball will go over. Well, let's see what's going on the field. They're saying that was a 4th down play. Referee, they're going to come and take a look at it. I think we're going to get replay involved in this one right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to stand.
Perjanik is our replay official. Wendell Holmes is the communicator today. So what do you think?
I think it's going to stand, Charlie. I mean, from this angle that we see in here, it looks like he saw it, tried to reach for it like he thought it was the pylon. But once his knee went down, that's where the ball ended up dying. If he just runs through it, take the tackle, run through the 1st down, he'd have easily picked it up. I'm not sure if it was a design play or if he just saw something on his own, but it looked good. It was set up well, and he had an opportunity to change the complexion of this football game for his team, but he just came up a little short.
He said the ruling on the field stands after replay, and it will be North Carolina Central's ball, 1st down and 10, right where he went out of bounds at the 36-yard line. So we talked about Howard University. We talked about Ron Prince in his first year. Some former great coaches here. You know, Joe Taylor was here. Steve Wilson was here. Willie Jeffries, Doug Porter, Tillman Cease. They've had some great coaches over the history of this particular school. Up top, nobody home for Richard.
You had the coverage you wanted. You had your streaks. You ran your 4 verticals, and then the safety looking in the backfield on 1st down. Quarterback needed to hold it just maybe another split second. Receiver would have ran under it for a touchdown. Well, you know we got to expect things from Howard on for special teams. They're on backups, 2nd and 3rd, on punters and kickers. So North Carolina Central special teams need to be aware.
Here we go, keeping the ball on the ground and nowhere to run for the quarterback, Richard.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if these quarterbacks predetermining give versus reading the defense, because, again, he kept that one, and you had the defensive end and an overhang linebacker just kind of waiting out there for him. Go on and give it. Totten would have picked up at least 4 or 5 yards.
But this time is Jordan Freeman in the backfield, a redshirt junior out of Charlotte, North Carolina, number 32, averaging 5.7 yards per carry on this third down. Back to pass is Richard. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver down there. And that was number 4. That was E.J. Hicks, junior out of Roseville, North Carolina. And so that'll bring up a punting situation after only a 1-yard gain on that drive for the Eagles.
So that fake punt did not hurt Howard, but I tell you, I don't know if this is great defense or bad offense, Charlie. I'm just kind of trying to figure this out because we have so many drops out here. And
yes, we have, on both sides.
Yeah.
A fair catch called for and made by Dominic Logan Neely, the freshman out of Hyattsville, Maryland, and DeMatha High. No score still. We're in the second quarter with 12:53 to go between Howard and North Carolina Central. Back here with 12:53 to go in the second quarter. Quentin Williams, when Coach Prince got the job, he said that's the first player he actually went and visited. And he's so happy, very happy, that he was able to recruit this young man. Back to pass. There's Quentin Williams rolling right. Overthrew Ailey, who looked like he was wide open right across midfield.
Yeah, he was in the play action, roll out, move the pocket. Same thing they did on first down on a couple possessions prior, but quarterback just has to set his feet and just deliver a strike to a wide open receiver.
Second down and 10.
Some good play calling by Howard. I think it's just a matter of executing. They got people wide open. They having opportunities.
Trey Oliver was a defensive back and a kicker, a punter, as Parsons gets the little screen pass, the semi-screen, and it's good for about 6 yards. Going to bring up a third down and 4.
Yep. It's manageable. It's manageable right now because it still gives you an option to run the ball or pass. And all the previous third down, North Carolina Central has been bringing pressure on third down. So Howard needs to understand this. If they want to throw the ball, look for some pressure from North Carolina Central's defense.
Third down for Howard. Williams stands in there. Looked like it could have been interference. Looked like the defensive player got there a little before the receiver, but no flag and an incomplete pass, and it'll bring up fourth down.
Again, it's third down, money down. Ailey has to make that play. He got to help your freshman quarterback out. That's his third drop of the day. That, now they're not going to be wide open catches, but these are, you got one win on the season. You're playing a close football game. You got to make a play.
Now let's see if Gillespie runs it this time. He's going to punt it away, and it's fielded at the 30-yard line and bobbled and almost fumbled as it's gotten all the way up to the 38-yard line. And they were trying to get it to Mr. Codrington, a man who's been a very dangerous kick returner in this conference. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. .11:55 to go in the first half of play. North Carolina Central, no score. This is their 5th possession of the day. And they get the ball at their own 38-yard line. And they hand the ball off. Straight ahead they go, keeping it on the ground and across the 40 to about the 41. And now a flag comes out, a late flag from the head linesman. Let's see what this one's all about. We've had very few flags in this game. That's one thing we can say. Not been a lot of penalties.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, 41.
North Carolina Central, second worst team in the conference. Against the right guard, Andrew Dale, the preseason second team all-conference selection for clipping on the play.
I'll tell you, this is what I thought we would see. North Carolina Central had came out in 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. Looked like they was going to just line up and just play football. But now, first to 25, they go back to the little guys.
Yeah, big penalty that time.
Yeah.
And now the quarterback, Richard, rolls to the right. Under a little pressure, has it complete. Great catch up top. And coming down with it was number 4, E.J. Hicks, the junior out of Roseville, North Carolina, with his 12th reception of the year.
Good time, big time play right there, because Rodney Denard was showing up beaming in there to get an interception.
He had, when they played last year, he had 4 receptions against Howard, 54 yards, and a 17-yard touchdown reception. So it is second down. After that, picked up some of that yardage. Again, this one caught for a first down by Tyler Barnes right at midfield, and they'll move the chains.
First and 25, 2 plays, you pick up a first down. You can't be happy if you're Howard's defensive coordinator.
Not at all. Not at all. Eagles have a player in the NFL at this time, Ryan Smith. He's a defensive back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his 4th season. Of course, Howard has Antoine Bethea with the New York Giants in his 14th year. Here's Richard throwing and has it complete on the near side right in front of the Howard bench. And this time on the reception again is Ryan McDaniel with another catch.
It showed a lot of poise. He got a little pressure up the middle. He scrambled. He was scrambling looking to throw the ball, not necessarily looking to pass, and found a wide open receiver downfield.
This time they are keeping the ball on the ground and not much there as the Bison defense stiffens that particular time.
I'm constantly seeing this zone. It's a zone read for a reason. You're zone blocking. You're reading the last man on the line of scrimmage. I don't know why these quarterbacks continue. I guess the coach is telling them, just give it because we don't want you to run and get hit.
Mookie Collier is in the lineup. They've run 3 running backs so far today. Totten Freeman, now Mookie Collier is in there, number 41. He's a redshirt freshman out of Bluefield, West Virginia, a young man who transferred in from Marshall University. It is second down and 10. Richard back to pass, throws. That could have been offensive pass interference. It could have been something.
Definitely defense. He was holding his jersey. I could just see him grabbing his jersey.
Some kind of.
Back judge sitting there looking at it. I guess he had a bad angle. He wasn't. I'm way up on the booth. He's on the field. He was too close to make the call. You talked about Ryan Smith. I know Ryan Smith very well, Charlie. It's a kid that I recruited out of Wise High School. You talked about Wise being a powerhouse program, and that's that NFL player that graduated from North Carolina Central.
Third down and 10. So he played for you when you coached there.
Yeah.
There's a pass, almost intercepted, could have been and should have been by Ray Williams.
Yeah, the quarterback showed a lot of poise. He stayed in the pocket. That was one of those ones I would like him to step up in the pocket, scramble a little bit, and the receivers will see that scramble drill, and they'll start running back to you or heading towards the end zone. But he kind of stood there and just made an errant pass. But again, it's on third down. The third down conversion is pretty low for both teams right now.
John Picaro, 4th punt of the afternoon. End over end, fair catch called for and made by Dominic Logan Neely right at the 9-yard line.
I didn't expect a defensive battle, Charlie. It looked like we picked up one here up on Howard University campus up here on Georgia Avenue on this beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon where the Nats are having their parade.
Yes,
today
indeed.
for winning the
Congratulations
World
to
Series.
them.
Yeah.
World Series. I mean, they had a foot in the grave in May. They had a foot in the grave in Houston. They were down 3-2, and they came back. Who would have ever thought? Who would have thunk it? Right?
Thunk it, I know.
First down and 10. Quentin Williams throws out in the flat, and it is complete. For about 3 yards.
Hey, they back to Cal. Little hitch routes.
He just tied the record, I believe, with that reception. That is his 6th reception of the day, I believe. And he needs one more.
One more to break it, huh?
Break the record. 184 career receptions. He's a prototype. He can make play at the next level.
Yeah,
his size.
His size is there. I question whether the speed and the separation from defenders.
Here we go, turning the corner on the sideline. But there's a flag way back down the field. This could be a touchdown for Howard, but it's going to be brought back, I believe, as Parson goes all the way. 87 yards.
The back judge threw it from the 50-yard line. I saw that. And he may be an outfielder in another life. But he threw that flag from the 50-yard line all the way to the 20. I've never seen a flag thrown 30 yards in my life, Charlie. How did he see that? It couldn't have been his call. But he made it nonetheless. Wow.
Well, it was an 87-yard run that was wiped out by Parsons. Had that stood up, that would have been his longest run of the year. He had a 75-yarder earlier this year for a touchdown, and that came against Bethune-Cookman, and he didn't score. This one he would have scored on.
That's just, hey, well, we're up here, Charlie. But that was an interesting call. I don't know if it was a hold, a clip, or what it was, but he threw it from 30 yards away.
2nd down and 9 now for the Bison. Again, they're keeping it on the ground with Parson, and he gets it up to about the 14-yard line, rather. A 5-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and 5. 8:04 remaining in the second quarter. And a scoreless ball game here in Washington, D.C. on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in November. First weekend in November.
Looks like that was Josiah in the game. Josiah, number 33. I know it. I went to college with his mom, man. He I've known that since he was a little guy.
And now the quarterback keeps it. Quentin Williams. And he's going to be short. Ball spotted at about the 16-yard line.
Again, I guess I'm just up here in the booth. I'm not on the field, but that particular play has been around for about 20 years. It's just reading the end, and to me, it's like it's predetermined. You've got to coach those guys up because goodness gracious.
Not a good punt this time for Damian Gillespie. Let's see, they punted from their 16. The ball is spotted at the 28-yard line. A 12-yard punt.
I see why they're going with it. They got to keep going for it.
It'll be 1st and 10.
And they're giving it to them already in scoring position right now. So if I'm North Carolina Central with a 0-0 game with almost 6 minutes and 58 seconds left in the half, you got to come away with some points on this possession.
Well, this is the deepest that North Carolina Central has been in Howard territory all day. The previous closest they've been was the Howard 20 when they tipped at a field goal their first possession. Here's the handoff to Totten. Totten stumbles and gets to the 25.
Yeah, that stumble kind of threw him off because if he plants that left foot, he goes up the middle at least for another 8 to 10 yards.
Isaiah Totten had a 112-yard day against Morgan State earlier this year. Last year was 3rd in the conference in rushing, ran for 768 yards and 8 touchdowns. Preseason first-team all-conference selection. Last year was a first-team all-conference selection. It is second down. 2nd and 6. And here's the end around, this time to E.J. Hicks. Hicks has the first down. Hicks is down inside the 5 to the 4-yard line.
Great play call right there. He came in there with the fake it up the middle. Quarterback kind of froze like he was going to throw it in and around. Good downfield blocking. Great execution by North Carolina Central. Now you're 1st and goal.
They mark it right at the 5. It'll be 1st and goal for North Carolina Central at the 5-yard line of Howard. Red zone offense now for the Eagles. Totten is the quarterback, running back behind the quarterback, Richard. He has the snap, has it off to Totten, and Totten is down to the 1. And they call it touchdown. They said he got in. 5-yard run for Mr. Totten, and for Totten, that is only his 3rd touchdown rushing of the year.
Well, he took advantage of a poor punt. He was able to get in here and execute 2 plays, touchdown. And we got some points on the board finally, Charlie.
So that was only an 18-yard drive. And now Olivo in for the point after. He is 17 of 19 in point after touchdowns this year. Jordan Freeman, or Picaro, the punter, is the holder, and it is up and it is good. So with 5:32 remaining here in the second quarter, it is 7-0 North Carolina Central over Howard. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3.
So you're growing.
.532 is the time remaining in the second quarter, and finally a scoreless tie broken by North Carolina Central on the 5-yard run by Isaiah Totten, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year, and it's 7-0 North Carolina Central over Howard. The ensuing kickoff at the 16-yard line, and still running. Dominic Logan Neely, and he's across midfield, and another flag thrown again. 30-yard flag, 30-yard pass by the referee.
I know exactly who he threw the pass. The Howard guy, they engaged, and the guy tried to break away. It wasn't a flagrant hold, but he did kind of snug at his jersey.
Well, if he did, you just said he kind of. It ain't no kind of.
Yeah, it's no kind of, but I think the defender actually grabbed him.
Either pulled it or he didn't.
The defender actually grabbed him, but they was engaged. It impacted the play because the runner, I guess he changed field to play, but. Okay, see.
So you won that one.
I'm trying to win one, Charlie. I mean, they throwing these penalties from these back judges, man. They need to stay in their lane. They call some PI, some pass interference, and some things like that. They got to stop calling these holes. They don't quite know. They don't work on holes as much as the umpires work on them.
At the 48 of North Carolina Central, after that good return from Dominic Logan Neely. There's a pass out in the flat, and it's Cornwell on the reception, the tight end.
And this is one of the things they got to understand. NC Central has been bringing pressure on late downs. Throwing the ball from the pocket on 1st down can definitely be advantageous for Howard. But when they try to throw from that pocket on 3rd down, they bring in a house.
It is 2nd down and 5 after that 5-yard gain. Gillespie comes in motion to the near side. Parsons has the ball, tries to bounce it to the outside, keeps his balance, and gets the 1st down to the 35-yard line.
That was a good play. I tell you what, Howard offensive line did a great job. If you get a draw as an offensive lineman, you're winning. But they actually controlled the line of scrimmage. And Parsons kind of looked a little Le'Veon Bellish on that one. He kind of bounced around a little bit till he found an alley, and then he hit it.
So Howard University trying to even the score with 4:25 to go before the break. 7-0, North Carolina Central. They have the ball at the 35 with a first down and 10. Haley goes in motion to the near side. Back to pass is Williams. Williams throws incomplete. Cornwell was the intended receiver on the near side. Nothing doing that time for him.
Again, first down pass, good pocket pressure, and they was able to get the ball off. But again, quarterback want to step into that throw and make the completion, because what happened was the linebackers from NC Central, they saw it, didn't see any pressure from the run game, then they came late.
Anthony goes in the slot to the top side of your screen. Back to pass. And dropped. Another drop by Howard University today. Parsons had some blocking in front of him, didn't he?
Blocking in a whole lot of green at Green Stadium. I tell you, he would have maybe took that one to the house, but hey, incomplete, man. It's 3rd and long. But I think this is definitely two down territory.
No question.
For Howard was there troubles in the punting game, so it's just one of those things where you may not be able to get 10. Hey, get your immediate pass play and just get yourself a manageable.
Get yourself in fourth. Yeah, if you could get 4th and 5, 4th and 3, you'd be great. Again, this time Ailey's in the slot to the right side. Gillespie goes in motion.
Here they come.
And here's the quarterback thinking about running, and thought too long and lost yards on that. It's 4th and 11.
Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you, you knew they were going to bring pressure. They brought pressure on 3rd down pretty much every play.
And they had Anthony double covered down there. He already has 6 receptions in the contest. He's 1 away from breaking the record.
And if I'm Central, I'm keeping my defense out there right now because, you plus territory, you're punting,
Let's see what happens here. Remember one time he tried to run with it. Well, this time a little pooch kick. And it goes into the end zone. It'll be brought out to the 20.
And you got to feel bad. I mean, you get great field position, you make some good football plays, get a good kickoff return, and your offense is stymied. And again, it's because of drop plays. It's mistakes that Howard University offensive players are making. But North Carolina Central defense, I tell you what, they fly to the football.
Yeah.
They make their mind up. And again, you got to have some kind of bead on what they're doing. You're not going to have time to throw the ball on 3rd down.
Right.
You have to identify your matchup and get rid of the football.
We want to say congratulations to Howard University volleyball senior Kira Porter, named the MEAC Player of the Week, helping the Bison stay unbeaten with a 5-set win over North Carolina Central and A&T last weekend. But they came up with their first conference loss last night when they lost 3 games to nothing to the Bears of Morgan State over in Baltimore. They'll play Coppin tomorrow. Howard now 9-1 in conference play and on top of the Northern Division, while North Carolina A&T is on top of the South, both at 9-1. Howard looking for its 5th straight volleyball title and 12th overall. That volleyball tournament begins in late November. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. 2nd down. Richard throwing over the middle, and they say it's a catch. No. The back judge comes back and says it hit the ground. So 2 officials confer and said it was an incomplete pass. It was a nice effort.
Again, another drop pass. The quarterback showed great pocket presence. He stepped up in the pocket, not looking to necessarily run the football, and he had a late dig route coming across, and he hit him right where you want to hit him, low, at the shoulder pad level, and got to come up with those plays.
Freeman in the backfield with his quarterback now for North Carolina Central. Pressure on the quarterback, steps away, throws it down the sideline. It'll be out of bounds, incomplete.
Yeah, I tell you, Freeman did one of those, you got to blitz. Again, Howard said, hey, we're going to bring pressure on 3rd down. And when you're a running back in the game on 3rd down, you got to know your first priority is to pass protect. You can't just throw a little shoulder out there and you got your quarterback off his plane. Man, he's running for his life. If you stick your nose up in there and get the block, now he could step in be able to stay in the pocket and deliver a ball on 3rd down.
Let's see if Dominic Logan Neely can make something happen for the Bison with 2:38 to go. Here's the punt. Punter fell down, and he's going to field it, trying to get upfield. Has a little blocking, cuts it to the outside, cuts it back inside the 30, and he's going to be dropped down at about the 26-yard line.
You know, when you're a bad team, it seems like you make a good play, and it's like the referees get so surprised that you're making a good play, then
Two flags.
Oh, man, there's 4 of them out there. All 4 of them did not see that play. But
I missed the flags.
I saw it when he came. The umpire thought they was coming right at him. He didn't get out of the way, so he threw a flag. Man, I tell you. Yeah. You know.
You're right. There's 4 flags on the ground.
Yes.
I've never seen 4 flags on the ground.
Man, they're supporting each other, man. Let's throw it too. They ain't all 4 of them ain't see that play. But again,
I told them my plane is leaving at 5 in the morning. We have to get this game over with.
But I mean, they only come out on big plays. So, you know, when you 1-6 or 1-7 or whatever your record is, you know, officials see those things and they say, oh, you're not good enough to make a big play. Let me just throw a flag.
You know, Howard coming in, though, Henry, is the second least penalized team in the conference. But they've picked up some big penalties here, and the quarterback is going to be sacked for the 4th time this afternoon. This is a loss of about 5 yards, all the way back to the 35-yard line.
We talked about in the beginning, they can't get behind and have to sit back and throw. When you're going against the #1 sack team in the conference and you're last and giving up sacks, that's a horrible recipe.
49 sacks on the year Howard has allowed. Quentin Williams throws it long down the sideline. And a flag is going to be defensive pass interference. And it's going to go against Justin Nicholson, the cornerback, a redshirt sophomore out of Concord, North Carolina.
Yeah, a little holding going on right there. Number 11's pretty fast. He's a fast guy.
Ailey.
Yeah, Ailey. And he can get behind defenders, and, you know, that's been pretty much.
It was 2 penalties. There was a defensive face mask penalty, or hands to the face, against North Carolina Central, which was declined. They'll take the 15-yarder, which is going to give them a first down right at midfield.
Yeah, we got all 3 timeouts left, 1:49 left in the half. And they got a chance to get some points on the board before the halftime. Swing it.
Little swing pass out to Parsons. Parsons a little juke, and he only picks up about 3 yards after all of that. The clock continues to run. Like you said, they have 3 timeouts remaining, so let's see what Ron Prince does with what he has left. Quarterback can't afford to be sacked in this situation. Now he takes off and runs, and nothing doing. It'll bring up, he actually lost yards all the way back to midfield. It'll be 3rd down. Lost about 3 yards on that play.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because, you know, he's after his first read, he's just kind of tucking the ball, looking to run, throw it away. He's not coming. He's not going through any progressions right now, you know, and it's really hurting because you're getting pretty much man-to-man coverage on the back end.
I want to mention the Black College Football Hall of Fame announced its finalists for the award, which will take place next February. 23 players listed, including 7 from the MEAC. Florida A&M has 5 players on the list, and Henry Lawrence, Greg Coleman, Tyrone McGriff, Nate Newton, and Jaquay Nunley. North Carolina A&T is represented by Dwayne Board, while North Carolina Central's Earl Air Harvey rounds out the MEAC players. As for contributors and coaches, MEAC Commissioner Dennis Thomas is listed as a contributor, while former Hampton University, Howard, and FAMU coach Joe Taylor, along with former Norfolk State, St. Paul's, and Virginia Union coach Willard Bailey are the coaches for the finalists. The 2020 inductees will be announced on November 14th, so stay tuned. It should be an exciting time.
Yeah, that was
Great
a 3rd
names
down
there,
play. You know, now Central has all 3 of their timeouts. I'm not sure why they're not using one right now to try to stop the clock. You can get the ball with over a minute left, try to get some points.
Well, let's see what happens here. Well, the clock is continuing to run.
Yeah, I don't get this. I mean, you know they can't punt, you know, so why not call a timeout to preserve your time when you get the ball back? But
well, Howard now is going to use as much time as they can.
Yeah,
They may even take a delay of game penalty. But what they're not, they're going to punt it away. And a catch is made and brought down right away. And a lot of action going on down there. Big number 63 from Howard got manhandled by one of the little players from North Carolina Central. He wasn't too happy, Bryce Miller, and he tried to get back up and go after him. The referee stepped right in and said, "You ain't going nowhere."
It was a little late for that. I mean, you already got tossed to the ground. I wasn't even getting that one to fight at this point.
From their own 22, North Carolina Central will just probably run out the clock here with 26 seconds to go.
Yeah, you would think if they by them not using their timeouts, but we'll see.
Richard, well, it's not about letting the play clock run down because the other clock wasn't even moving. And he throws it up top.
Got him.
And he had a man out there, but just overthrew him.
Yeah. He just chucked it down the field. I mean, you had a guy, he got behind him. You know, just get your feet underneath your quarterback and make a good throw. It's a touchdown. Now, if you decide you're going to still try to get points, why not use one of your 3 timeouts? It would have been, instead of 31 seconds, you were looking at 51 seconds left. But, hey, man, I'm just calling the game.
That was Barry Campbell, the intended receiver for North Carolina Central. And now they just keep it on the ground with Totten running straight up the gut. And Totten picks up the first down. The clock will stop to move the chains. He gets the first down at about the 44-yard line. They'll mark it at the 42. And a timeout is called. They'll mark it at the 41. 15 seconds to go. So now, different strategy. Are you surprised at the way the coaching side of it has gone on this? Go ahead, criticize.
Oh, no, we won't do it. I like Trey. Trey's my guy.
I didn't say you didn't like him. I just said
I mean,
you wouldn't have done it that way, would you?
No, not necessarily. Because right now we're looking at we'll probably have about 45 seconds left. You know, the opportunities. We're still 2 timeouts left. So now, you know, Howard came out there and prevent. They're in a 30-man front, 3-man front. You know it's going to be alleys to be able to run the ball or still throw it. You left your playbook entirely open.
Richard, under pressure, has not been sacked today and came close and throws it incomplete. With 8 seconds, 7.9 to be exact. But this clock stops with the incomplete pass. Second down.
Yeah, I mean,
Second and 10.
You know, this is one of those plays right now. You know they're in a 3-man front, but they still bringing both linebackers and just run a little screen to Totten and just get him in open field. You never know. He may break one for 6, but
Ray Williams is playing center field. He's all the way back at the 35-yard line. Don't let anything get behind you. And that one's almost intercepted. It is. Can you call a timeout?
Oh, Howard got a dogged on the clock. When he went down, it was 2 seconds left, and
they got to stop the clock.
Yeah, they're going to have to go back and look at it.
No,
they're going to put some more time on the clock.
You got to put some more time on the clock.
Because you got at least a Hail Murray shot now.
Central was headed to the locker room, and that's the first turnover of the ball game.
I can't really hear what they're saying, but I think they got to add some time on that clock.
So it was a fumble by North Carolina Central. This is their first turnover of the ball game.
They're going to check to see how much time to put on the clock. But you got an opportunity to throw it into the end zone right here.
North Carolina Central is the best in the MEAC when it comes to giveaway takeaways. They're +9 coming in. So they're checking to see how much time. It should be at least 2 or 3 seconds, I would think.
I'm thinking there's a couple seconds left on there. We'll give you a chance to get in the shotgun. send big old 6'2", 6'3" Anthony down there and just throw it up in the end zone, see if you're able to come back with some points before halftime. That would be very disheartening if they were able to score. But you got a chance. You got a chance.
Well, this is the deepest that Howard has been in the North Carolina Central Territory at the 34-yard line. So let's see how much time is going to be left on the clock. Our referee, Jason Soistman, he's talking to the replay official, Steve Furjanic, and the communicator, Wendell Holmes, in the booth here with us, along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal in the broadcast booth. Glad you could be with us, and being assisted by a couple of outstanding Howard University students, Kalicia Reynolds and Nira Hedden. Always great when you can get the students involved with telecasts. It only can enhance their future. We're glad to be a part of it. Meanwhile, again, we're trying to figure out what's going on down there. We were talking about the Black College Football Hall of Fame. You know, the Deacon Jones watch list presented by the most outstanding football player, former North Carolina A&T and current Chicago Bears running back Tariq Cohen, Amir Hall from Bowie State, won it for two. One second on the game clock. So a Hail Mary pass is all you need, right?
I tell you, one second. You got one play.
Okay, where's Kyle Anthony?
He's down at the bottom by himself. So they're gonna bracket him. It looks like they putting 23 and 19 on Cal.
Well, look at the far side of the field. You got Ailey.
Yeah, they're Smurfs though, Charlie. They're little guys.
That's all right. Can only put so many people on them. They used to do that with Jerry Rice.
Oh man, he got sacked. Oh, he got it off.
Let's see what happens.
Interception.
Touchback. Intercepted, and it's a touchback, and that's the end of the first half.
Wow. It looks like it could have been a tie. Maybe the tie goes to the offense.
The referee is saying that it's a tie. Howard University is saying it should have been a touchdown. Well, there were a lot of players down there. So that's the way the first half comes to an end. 7-0 is our score here at Green Stadium in Washington, D.C. North Carolina Central leading 7-0. We'll be looking and talking to the new head basketball coach at Howard during halftime.
To help turn your ambitions into action, what would you like the power to do?
James.
We're at halftime here at Green Stadium. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3. And it's 7-0 North Carolina Central over Howard University at the half. And we're joined by first-year head basketball coach at Howard, Kenny Blakeney. He comes in after succeeding a young man who was here for a number of years and getting ready to start the season on Tuesday. Congratulations, first of all. Kevin Nickelberry was the young man ahead of you. But what do you look at when you start getting ready for this coming season?
Yeah, well, first, it's an honor to be on the air with you, Mr. Neal. I watched you growing up, and to be here having
make me feel old now.
Hey, it's not the old thing; it's the great thing. You're a legend in this business, and it's really an honor to be here with you. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah,
how are you looking at the season? Of course, we lose R.J. Cole; he goes over to UConn and things of this nature. Overall,
well, to be honest with you, my head is just down. We lost 45 points in transfer, and we had one returning player, Charles Williams, C.J. Williams. That is a guy who was a first-team All-League guy that has a chance to be the all-time leading scorer at Howard, but also has a chance to be the all-time leading scorer in MEAC history.
Right.
So, we're very fortunate and lucky to have him as a cornerstone of our program. The rest of the guys haven't really done it before, so it's going to be really interesting to try to get these guys that have a lot of potential to see where if we can get that potential become production.
What does it mean to you to come back home for lack of a better word? You went to DeMatha High School. You're a local kid from here. You went to Duke and played. But what does it mean to come back home and coach in your hometown?
It's been 30 years, and it's incredible. I was talking. We had an exhibition game last night against UDC, and their coach there, who does an unbelievable job and has an unbelievable program, Mike Riley, ex-Georgetown John Thompson assistant, was telling me how lucky I was to be able to have a job to coach in your own hometown again. It's taken me 30 years to get back here since I left in 1990 to go to Duke University. So it means the world. My mom is 77. I haven't been here in 30 years, so I've missed a huge part of that family time with them. So to have a chance to come back, spend time with family, spend time with friends, and try to grow and build a university that means a lot to so many people, it means the world.
You will open the season on Tuesday here with doubleheader with you and the women. Ty Grace also has her team poised to do some good things this year. Who are you going to play on Tuesday?
We play Washington Adventist University.
One of the things we've got to talk about, they've got to do a better job of recognizing you. You're a new man on campus, and he's the new coach here, and he has problems going into the gym. He has problems getting on campus. He has problems getting into the football game. They don't know him. The security is giving him the blues. We've got to do something about that. Let me talk to Dr. Frederick and see if we can get this straightened out.
Absolutely. That'd be a huge help. Or I got to just walk around with credentials on all day long.
There's no question about it. But with the competition that you know is apparent in this particular conference, how do you look at your first year?
The conference is going to be extremely tough. I think we being the MEAC, we get the short end of the stick because unfortunately we have to go out and we have to play bye games.
Sure.
And unfortunately, in some of those bye games, you may take a hit with your wins and losses. But I think we've studied every team in this league already. And the league is really good. And you have, North Carolina Central that's won it, I think, 2 or 3 years in a row. Lavelle Moten's a friend of mine from my days in Durham. Right. So they do a terrific job. The guys out of Norfolk State, they do a great job. Bethune-Cookman, they have some returning veteran senior-led teams. UNC Greensboro. So if you look at Coppin State's going to be really good. I think, they have a first 5 or 6 that are really strong. Eric Skeeter at Delaware State. I've known him for a long time. So the league is really, really good, Mr. Neal. And I think that once we start league play, we have a stretch where we go UNC, Greensboro, Norfolk State. We have 4 or 5 of the top teams all on the road in like one stretch. So it's going to be a great opportunity and a great challenge. I'm looking forward to it.
Talk about the pre-conference games and who those bye games, as you say, those money games.
Yes.
Who do you see in the preseason?
Well, coming up we have
conference, I should say.
Yes, sir. Coming up we have Washington Adventist on the 5th. We have GW the following next Saturday at their place at 4. And then we go to South Bend and play Notre Dame, which is a game for me that is going to be one that is going to be I don't know how to take it. Mike Bray, the head coach at Notre Dame, former DeMatha teacher when I was a freshman, my assistant coach for my time at Duke, and then I worked for him for several years at the University of Delaware as the head coach at Notre Dame now. He's a guy that means so much to me in my life. And, I'm going shopping after I leave the game to get a mock neck to wear in his honor, almost like how Coach Thompson wore the sweater for Lou Carnesecca back in the day. But we have some challenging games, but I think it's exciting for us to be able to compete and get ready for the conference season against some of those better teams.
Well, I'll tell you, I want to say congratulations and a fantastic opportunity for you to come back home and coach, not at your alma mater, but coach a hometown team, which some people never get a chance, not even to dream of that, much less happen.
No, absolutely. And I think, the Howard brand means, like I said, so much to a lot of people. And, we want to utilize this brand to try to expose the university, which is, led by Dr. Fredericks and, athletic director Kerry Davis, and really, tell the story through the basketball program.
Well, Columbia University is going to miss you this year. That's where you were a year ago.
Yes, sir.
And now you're down here in Washington, D.C. And again, we say congratulations and wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you so much, Mr. Neal.
So much. So glad to see you and glad you could join us here at halftime. Kenny Blakely, the head basketball coach at Howard University, with us at halftime. 7-0, North Carolina Central over Howard. Back with more from Green Stadium in just a moment.
You been at every home game?
Back here at Howard University, 7-0, and it's North Carolina Central with the 7-0 advantage at halftime. I'm joined by Ty Grace, the head women's basketball coach here at Howard University. And Ty, always a pleasure seeing you. Fantastic. You kind of year last year, didn't win it all like you wanted to. How do you look at this season and the team that you have coming back?
Well, I'm glad to be here, Charlie. Thanks for having me. We did have a decent season last year, and it wasn't what we wanted to get out of it. But this year, coming in, having a senior team, a veteran, 7 seniors, we're really looking to do a little bit more, obviously. And our main goal has been talking about a championship. We just need to take it game by game to get to that point, and that's what we're looking to achieve this year.
When you look at some of the key players, talk about some of the people that you feel is going to make the difference for you this year.
Well, I had 4 kids make a preseason all MEAC. Sarah Edmond, our leading scorer, and then Ayanna Williams, our point guard. Those are our catalysts in our backcourt. Our best shooter, Jayla Thornton, who led the team in 3-pointers last year. And then our front court, and Imani Bryant, who was 5-time Defensive Player of the Week last year. So those core of seniors are definitely going to kind of push us ahead and hopefully take us to the next level that we're looking to get.
And, of course, we all know there's the Aggies sitting out there, a team that everybody has to figure they've got to get around. But there's some other teams in the conference that's going to give you some issues, too.
Yes.
Bethune-Cookman is always a team to be reckoned with. And, of course, we know what Norfolk State has rebounded and what did UMES do last year.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, the conference is strong.
Very. From top to bottom, I think every day in and day out, you're going to get a competitive game. It's going to be challenging no matter who you play. Even the teams that they say are quote-unquote at the bottom, we get prepared to have a challenge and a battle against every team. But those top 4 you just named are the ones you're definitely trying to get through.
When you look at your pre-conference schedule, some of your money games, as we like to call them, who are you facing?
We're going to be going down to Tampa and seeing South Florida early on, right after we play LaSalle. And then we're going to go to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. So 2 really big games, 2 games I think our kids will be excited about playing that type of level, that type of schedule. I think they're prepared and they'll be ready for the challenge.
Well, you talk about opening the season, and it opens on Tuesday right here at Byrd Gymnasium. You'll play the second game of a doubleheader. After the men play Washington Adventist, you will play LaSalle, a school out of Philadelphia, and that can be a challenge also.
Yes. We played LaSalle last year and beat them at their place by 3, so I'm sure their coach is going to remind them about that game, and they're going to be ready to try to do the same to us. But I think, like I said, having this senior team, veteran team, they're going to be prepared and ready and excited to play at home, the first to open up the season. So I'm excited about that as well.
All right. Ty Grace, the head women's basketball coach for the Lady Bison of Howard University, joining us here at halftime, and we wish you so much success in the upcoming season.
Thank you.
All right. Good. All right. Talking to you at halftime. We'll be back. More of our halftime activities here from Green Stadium in Washington, D.C., where the Bison trailing North Carolina Central 7-0 at the half. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
So let's get after it. What would you like the power to do?
5, 4. As we get ready to start the second half, we'll look at some of the athletes on the mural on Crampton Auditorium here on the campus of Howard University. We got lacrosse and basketball, football, cross country, track, volleyball, all displayed. And we want to talk about Howard's debate team that recently took on Harvard in Bridgeport, Connecticut in the great debate. 8,000 people on hand for that one, and did a very good job. The debate team was led by SLMC Associate Professor Angela Minor, as Bethune-Cookman, I should say, as North Carolina Central, rather, get the ball to start the second half, and the ball is dropped and spotted right at about the 26-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Eagles of North Carolina Central. 1st down and 10.
I tell you, Charles, Zach Simmons is a little linebacker that was in the middle. You know, his job is to block. You know, you taught on kickoff return, never retreat, never go backwards. He's going backwards trying to get the ball, and that thing could have took a different bounce and Howard could have recovered. I know the coach giving him an earful on the sideline.
Well, Isaiah Totten is now in the backfield. They've shown all three running backs today, Totten, Freeman, and Collier. It's Totten who started the game, and he gets the handoff on 1st and 10, and Totten with a good run, about 9 yards, gets it up to the 35-yard line where it'll be 2nd down and 1.
Yeah, just a matter of committing to it. I think if you commit to the run game, you could definitely have some success.
And it is a 1st down gain across the 40. Just checking some first half stats. We talk about total yards. Got 21 yards rushing for North Carolina Central and 42 passing. 81 yards passing for Howard and only 12 yards rushing. Keeping the ball on the ground once again, bouncing it to the outside and stumbling to the midfield stripe goes Isaiah Totten. And a 1st down is gained.
That's 3 carries for over 20 yards right out the break. You know what the halftime adjustments must be for NC Central. Let's get 25 the ball. Let's stop playing around.
And now, this time, nothing doing as the running back is dropped for a loss. And that was led by James Newell.
I still like that.
Sophomore out of Akron, Ohio.
Still like that idea. You know, I love to see those first possessions when teams come out of the locker room so you can kind of see what the coaches talked about at halftime, what adjustments are going to be made. And looks like NC Central's like, hey, let's get the ball to 25. Let's run the ball. Let's control this line of scrimmage and get out of here with a win.
Totten with 53 yards coming into the second half. Richard with 16 rushing. And here's Totten again on the carry on a 2nd down and about 12. Now it'll be 3rd down and 3rd and 12. But that was a 2nd and 12. It'll be 3rd and 11.
Hey, Howard was stiffened. They rotated. They brought in 3 or 4 more defensive linemen. Where we get 2 negative plays for North Carolina Central, and then they force in the 3rd and long.
Two of 6 on 3rd downs for North Carolina Central. Here's great catch, a diving catch that time by Hicks. And Hicks gets the 1st down across the 40, inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. So E.J. Hicks, a couple catches for him today. The junior out of Roseville, North Carolina.
Big time play, EJ. I tell you, he gave himself up. He dove. Late dig route across the middle. Quarterback had poise, stood in the pocket, delivered a strike. And that's how you make a play for your quarterback, especially on money down, like 3rd down. 3rd down is money down, Charlie. You going to punt or move the chains?
On 26 is where this drive started. They moved it across midfield. This time a new running back in the lineup. This is Collier. And we got a holding penalty possibly on North Carolina Central.
Well, that looks like Coach Tolliver must have went in there at halftime. Look here. Hey, guys, we're going to control this line of scrimmage, you know. And I think, I like it. I like the fact you come out of the halftime. I like to see them get in 12 personnel where you bring in 2 tight ends, 2 receivers flexed out, and just get around and just hand that ball to the running back. And then what you do is you're creating gaps for yourself based off just simple alignment. You know, Howard will have to adjust to the 2 tight end set. And then you just see, hey, look, this is going to be man-on-man football. We're gonna hit you in your mouth or you're going to hit us in the mouth, and we're going to see who's going to prevail.
So the penalty is a chop block. So a lot of real estate ahead. The pass out in the flat. And it's Deshaun Stevens on the reception for North Carolina Central. Stevens run out of bounds right at about the 42, 43-yard line. And to bring up a 2nd down and about 15.
That was a pretty athletic football play by the quarterback.
Richard has done a fairly good job. Of course, he's third in passing in the conference. Stanley from Florida A&M, what a season he's had, number 1, and Carter from Norfolk State is number 2.
Yeah, Aaron Walker was about to hit him, and he made a great athletic play.
There's a pass, incomplete. Good defense downfield for Howard University, getting their hand in there and making sure it was not going to be complete.
It looked like he threw it slightly behind him a little bit, and he had to try to make the adjustments to make the play. And you saw Sean Thomas, the longtime trainer for North Carolina Central, sprint on the field. I've never seen Sean run that fast in my life. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but he got out there and very quickly. Sean don't move really fast unless it's something serious.
We're going to take a timeout. 10:44 to go here in the third quarter. 7-0. North Carolina Central with the ball, and they'll have it when we come back. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3.
Ooh. That beam is saving me.
I know.
What would you like the power to do?
Back here at Green Stadium, a scene you never want to see. Ambulance on the field. Quentin Chaplin, the tight end, he is a redshirt sophomore from New Bern, North Carolina. Some type of a leg injury. We don't know what it is. We're not going to speculate on what it is, but the ambulance is on the field, and they'll be taking him away. But in the meantime, we wish him the best and hope that he gets well soon. 10:44, the time remaining here in the third quarter, and it's a 7-0 ball game with North Carolina Central leading Howard University. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3.
What would you like the power to do?
.10:44 to go. Quentin Chaplin is being loaded into the ambulance here at Green Stadium. As we said, some type of leg injury, and we wish him the best going forward. Ever want to see a young man get injured?
No, this is just unfortunate. It's a collision sport that we play here in football, and it is a part of the game, and you just wish that young man well to speedy recovery.
We talk about some of the positives with Howard University, and they've had one MEAC title. That was 1993 under Steve Wilson. Of course, Jay Walker was a player on that team. He was the quarterback. It was a team that went 11-0. Also, though, on that team, on a sad note, Jose White, who recently passed away. His funeral was this past Wednesday. The 46-year-old was an outstanding performer and who was known for rushing the passer. He ranks 10th all-time in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference with 29 career sacks. He was drafted in the 7th round by the Minnesota Vikings. He went on to play 4 years in the National Football League. In fact, the last 2 players from Howard drafted by the NFL was defensive back Ron Bartell, a 2nd-round pick by the Rams back in 2005, and Antoine Bethea, a 6th-round pick by the Colts in 2006. Of course, we know Bethea still playing. He's in his 14th season with the NFL and a member of the New York Giants. But anyway, after that lull, and we wish Quentin Chaplin all the best, it'll be 3rd down for North Carolina Central. 3rd and about 15. Quarterback in trouble, and the ball comes loose, and Howard has it. Howard comes up with the recovery.
Looks like they saw something from the last play of the first half. Howard just lined up and said, hey, we're going to bring it. North Carolina Central made absolutely no adjustment to protect the quarterback, and they got another sack, fumble, turnover.
That's the 2nd turnover today for North Carolina Central, a team that has the best record for giveaway takeaways in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference.
Yeah, they came in plus 10, and we talked about protecting the football for Howard, but it's like Central done turned the ball over twice, and then Howard got it in plus territory. Hey, they think they need to get some points out of this possession here.
No question. 10:36 and trailing 7-0, and back to pass. Quentin Williams looking for Kyle Anthony, who's one catch away from breaking the school's all-time receiving record of 178.
He's not as fast as Ailey because that's the same thing. They just inverted. They put him on the outside, put Ailey in the slot, and Cal wasn't able to get separation from the cornerback to get behind him.
2nd down and 10. This time it's Parsons with the ball. Parsons maybe a yard, and that's it. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Howard tried to run a little trap play inside. Central didn't go for it. They was actually stayed home and was able to put a hat on the ball and pretty much just a 1-yard gain. Now it's 3rd and 9, and as you know,
they've been coming.
They've been coming. Let's see what adjustments Howard has made to this. And no, looks like none. It's the same
And
result.
sack. Another sack that time for North Carolina Central. That's their 6th sack of the afternoon.
Yep, and there's Royster, leads the conference in sacks. And after today, he just separated himself from the pack.
Yeah, Royster, a redshirt senior out of Chesapeake, Virginia, and Deep Creek High, ranked 21st in the nation in tackles for loss. We're not even counting sacks.
Oh, yeah, that was a part of it, though. Believe it.
Here's the punt.
Jeez.
Another not good punt for Howard University. The ball goes out of bounds at about the 32-yard line.
Yeah, that's putting it really nicely, Charlie. At this point of the game, your defense is not playing bad. You only, 7 points you've given up. Coach Prince is almost going to be forced to just go for it. I mean, you punted the ball, and it's, you didn't even have to move the chains. He didn't even punt the ball long enough for a 1st down. And this is the 2nd time this has occurred. And he's not your regular punter. I understand that. You're just kind of plugging people in at this point in the season. But,
Yeah, the regular punter, Isaiah Moore, not here. Dick Farris, the field goal kicker, is injured, and they keep the ball on the ground. That is North Carolina Central on 1st down and 10 from their own 34-yard line.
Hey, you start talking about attrition. You start talking about laying on these guys, getting yards, running the ball. You're also eating up clock, and you're weighing this team down. And eventually, you keep this philosophy, you'll get another touchdown out of it, because what North Carolina Central wants to do, like you said, Charlie, they're in 2nd place by themselves. You just want to just keep winning and give yourself a chance, in November.
Again, here's Totten. Totten carried people for the 1st down across the 45 to the 47, 48-yard line.
You're imposing your will at this point in the ball game. It's the 2nd half. You made the commitment. It looks like they've committed themselves, and we're going to run the football.
We talked about the Black College Football Player of the Year award, which will be honored. We get the Deacon Jones Trophy, and MEAC players on the watch list includes Kyle Anthony from Howard, number 2 receiver in the conference. North Carolina Central University running back Isaiah Totten is on that list. Number 2 rusher in the conference. Here's a pass to the outside that goes incomplete. Deshaun Stevens, the intended receiver. It'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, they wasn't on the same page. I mean, the defender was playing 10 yards off. He wanted to run a hitch. Quarterback threw it through the outside. Receiver turned inside. Now, keep in mind what Howard has done right now. 2nd down and 10. They brought in 4 fresh defensive linemen. So, in your play calling, you can be aware of things like that because, these guys wasn't in when you just gashed them for 10 yards.
2nd down, 10. Davius Richard steps away, lets it go, and it's caught on the near sideline by Travion Pratt. And Pratt takes it down to the 34-yard line. And another 1st down for the Eagles.
Give Big Devin Jordan, the red shirt freshman, credit. His player beat him inside. He pushed him up, and then he just put his hands up, and it was a shield for Richard to get outside the pocket and deliver a 1st down pass.
MEAC, in his 49th year, North Carolina Central, one of the 7 founding members of the conference, along with Howard University. Central left for a while, went to the CIAA, but came back as Totten tries to go to the right side. Not a lot of running room, maybe a yard, and that's it down to the 34-yard line. They won, that is North Carolina Central, the MEAC in 1972, 73, and 2016, as we have a player down on the field for the Bison. And they won CIAA titles 8 times in football.
One thing about North Carolina Central, man, they have a rabid fan base. They're very supportive. You know, they want to win down there. They do a great job. And looking at their athletic director, Dr. Ingrid Wicker-McCree, who's starting her 12th year, she's done a marvelous job. And she got there in 1994. And Kyle Serber, who's just one of the best sports information directors in the business, he got there in August of 94. So this is like 25th year they've been in that program, and this is a model of consistency and winning. Believe me, those fans want to win bad down there. And if you don't win and you don't do it the right way, they're going to let you know.
Oh, we were at halftime. We were at halftime. We're talking to Coach Blakeney, the men's coach at Howard University, and, you know, he talked about what Lavelle Moten has been able to do with that basketball program down in North Carolina Central. You think we got a false start there?
I think it's just a tad bit, but hey, Coach, you talk about Coach Moten. I tell you what, first-class guy. He's done a great job, 3 straight championships. But I need to let Coach Moten know one thing. My handicap has come down. He used to beat me in golf. I think I can beat him now. You know, I've been out of coaching for a while. I've been able to practice a little bit, so right. I'm going to issue a challenge to Coach.
I got you. Second down. Richard down the middle, wide open. It'll be a touchdown for Tyler Barnes.
Great call. Great call.
They say it's 39 yards.
And they just brought the running back because Howard's been bringing
running back. That was not Barnes. That was Collier.
That was 41. They've been bringing that A-gap blitz, and Coach Webb picked up on it, and then he just sent them right down the seams. Man, I like this freshman quarterback. He's going to be something special.
That's Richard. And here's the point after. The kick is up, and it is good. And it's 14-0 right now for North Carolina Central with 6:35 to go here in the third quarter. And as Richard with his 9th touchdown pass of the year, that one was good for 39 yards. Neely. Dominic Logan Neely on the return for Howard University. Has a little running room, and I think he stepped out of bounds at the 19 or 20-yard line.
Yeah, uninterfered and stepped out.
Fielded the ball and trying to get upfield. Stepped out of bounds. So Howard gets the ball for the second time in the second half. And with only 6 minutes and 32 seconds to go and down 14-0.
Yeah,
Talking about scoring, you know, one of the things that Howard has given up their most points this year in the third quarter. Well, second quarter, 146 points, 101 in the third quarter, but only scored 21 points all season long in the third quarter. Their least amount of points they've scored in the third quarter this season.
Yeah, North Carolina, NC Central's defense is flying to the football right now. And then when it gets to a point where you're down and you pretty much have to throw to catch up, that's when it's going to get real ugly for Howard's offense. I think you don't want to say it's a must-score possession. It's just the third quarter, but this is one of those possessions you want to just kind of get your best plays out and try to get some points on the board.
Howard came in averaging just 18 points a game, giving up 49, while North Carolina Central came in averaging 20 points a game and giving up 28. There's another sack, number 7 for North Carolina Central today.
Yeah. So what we talked about in the pregame, we talked about it. You know, one of the keys to the game, and this showing his ugly head, at least from Howard's perspective, but for NC Central, is what they want to do, is what they do. You're leading the conference in sacks, and then you got 7, and you're up, and still over 20 minutes to play. You figure you're gonna get a chance to maybe get double-digit sacks in the game.
Kyle Anthony's been quiet all the second half Actually, it was quiet the last half of the first half after picking up 6 receptions, has not caught a pass in a while. And here we go with Parsons coming out of the backfield, but not much running room for him after he did gather the ball. Well, they say Kyle Anthony does have 7. The official stats from North Carolina Central has him with 7, but I don't remember when he got the 7th one.
Yeah, well, you know, it's probably 7 for about 20 yards. They've been pretty much hitch plays. I mean, they call a screen right here. The running back catches the ball, but he's in front of the offensive lineman. Looks like he looks back to say, hey, come on, you guys should be coming this way to block for me. You know, and then the more 3-and-outs you get, you know, the worse it's going to get for HU's offense.
Say 7 for 40 yards. Not a bad punt this time. And it is fielded by Codrington. And he's a very dangerous return man. Had a 75-yarder a week ago against Delaware State to win the game for the Eagles of North Carolina Central, and a good return that time for Mr. Codrington.
Antonio Turner, the big guy, saved the day because he had a wall set up back there. Oh, and I see something yellow on the flag on the field, Charlie. So there's no need of me getting into analyzing that great punt return, that great tackle, because it looks like it's going to be for naught.
Oh, you have the flag throwing contest.
I mean, I've never seen a 30-yard throw, and I've seen it all. I mean, we have a great view up here, but you know, this is a big possession for Howard's defense. You look at, you know, the offense went 3-and-out, but now you get a penalty. It should push them back just a little. Well, they're talking a lot. Maybe they'll overturn it like last time. I'm not sure.
Well, Norfolk State is their next opponent for North Carolina Central in Durham. That'll be their homecoming.
Okay.
That'll be North Carolina Central's homecoming. Norfolk State's playing their homecoming game today against Morgan State down in Norfolk, Virginia, and then they will play at home against South Carolina State, and then end the season in the Eagle Aggie Classic in Greensboro this year.
That's something special. They got a tough road these last 3 games. I think Norfolk is up 24-0 on Morgan right now for their homecoming, and you know, then when you start talking about that Eagle Aggie Classic, some of the Aggies say the Aggie Eagle Classic. I mean, I don't know what they say.
Put the Aggie first, right?
Well, what I know they do in Durham, they say Eagle Pride Amplified. I know that's what they say down there in Durham, and I know they're going to make that trip over to Greensboro ready to roll at the end of the season.
From their own 21 now is where.
Looks like they're going to make them punt it again. So
let's see what happens.
Wow, I don't know what happened, because if it's on Howard, I'm thinking I'm taking the ball in plus territory, but I guess with saying the punter's so bad, you know, let's make them do it again.
Maybe he'll.
Or maybe they offset. It was offset. Who knows? We can't hear up here.
Codrington again on the return, trying to get to the outside, reverses his field. He's going to lose some yards.
Great play.
And brought down by number 47 for Howard University that time, and that's Zuri Godfrey, a junior from Hampton, Virginia, and Bethel High.
Big time play for Zuri. Again, I don't know what that ball is at the 40, and then that's like a 20-yard difference. So I don't know what the play was. Did they offset? Did they have to do it, or did Central make them punt again? We didn't get that communication from the officials, but either way, it was a 40-yard swing in play, so it benefited Howard University's defense right here.
First down and 10. Empty backfield now for the Eagles with their quarterback, Darius Richard, throwing in the middle, has it complete. And on the reception is Deshaun Stevens. He's had a pretty good game, and he's picks up 12 yards on the play. And it's a first down and 10 for the Eagles.
Good pocket. The quarterback, the offensive line gave him good time to throw. He stepped up and hit him on a curl route. Now, if they're going to commit to this empty set, I don't think Howard could afford to just rush 4. Richard to pick them apart, and they'll go right down the field and score. They're going to have to bring some pressure to get the ball out of this young man's hand.
And they're going with the empty backfield once again. In motion is Hicks. And Hicks gets the call, turns the corner, tripped up, and maybe a yard or 2, if that.
I mean, Coach Ware, the offensive coordinator, is very innovative. We spent some time together at Bowie State, but You run a fly sweep into the boundary, 2 trips where they already lined up 3 defenders to cover those 3 receivers. Maybe they saw something in the film, but I'm like, that's a very, very tough play for the runner.
I often wonder why do you run to the short side of the field?
A lot of times defenses will still play the field. So if you see it on up top, you'll say, hey, you still got your defenders to the field. I'm going to run into the boundary because they don't think you're going to do it.
Richard throws, and this time Hicks with the reception. Cuts it back inside. Very close to the first down marker. Depending on where they mark his forward progress, it's going to be close. He may have the first down.
Yeah. That was a good play. He was able to get his feet, catch the ball, get his shoulders square, and pick up the first down. It's a nice little possession going on for NC Central right here. I think if they go down and get some points right here, Charlie, we may start the band up because it may get ugly after this.
And we have 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in the third quarter, and a lead of 14-0. Howard University this year was shut out twice. Actually, once. They were shut out against Maryland 79-0. Only 6 points against Norfolk State.
They must have seen a trigger now with this empty set because this must be triggering zone coverage. And then now Howard is bringing in 4 brand new defensive linemen, which they seem to do on pretty much every possession, and bring some fresh bodies in to rush the passer here.
Actually, it was 6 points against A&T a week ago when they gave up 64 points. Of course, A&T ranked 18th in the nation. Fam, you also ranked this week in the FCS poll.
Hey, Coach Willie Simmons is doing a marvelous job down there in Tallahassee.
Second down now. This time Freeman is in the backfield with the quarterback, and he gets maybe a yard down to the 34-yard line.
Hey, Christian White put his nose in there, man. Real freshman linebacker just stuck his nose in there, and then it was at the point of contact, 0 yards after
You heard
contact.
him score in the South Carolina State A&T game?
A&T was up 15-10 in the second quarter right now.
Winner moves into a tie for first with Bethune-Cookman in the MEAC.
Fam, don't forget them Rattlers. Them Rattlers.
Well, the Rattlers' only problem with the Rattlers, they can play spoiler, but they can't win it.
Yeah, they can't win it, but you can't tell them players that.
Right. Richard picks up the low snap, and he's in trouble, and he goes down on one knee. He's down. So we count that as a sack for the Bison of Howard University for their defense.
Yeah. I like that. That's Deontay Davis, a linebacker, another freshman, from out of Riverdale Baptist High School here in Maryland. What he did at this point, hey, look, I'm not going to just sit back and just let you just throw the ball out of the empty set. Howard made a decision to go in and bring pressure, brings up a 4th down.
And it is a 4th down, and now I think a timeout's being called, or the clock is going to run down. That'll be the end of the third quarter here from Green Stadium in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. And the Howard University Bison at home trailing the visiting Eagles of North Carolina Central 14-0 back with the fourth quarter. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3.
To reach that blissful state of doneness. So let's get after it. What would you like the power to do?
So 4th down facing North Carolina Central. They'll punt it away. Fair catch being called for, made at the 12-yard line by the return man, Dominique Logan Neely. They'll mark it at the 12.
Howard defense did their job. They was able to get a stop when NC Central had great field position. So now, just put together a nice drive and get some points on the board. I know we've been saying like a broken record all day, but, without points, it's pretty much impossible to win.
Howard only 116 total yards today, 267 for North Carolina Central, and that one is tipped away from the intended receiver, the defensive rover, they call him. Deonde Fair got his hands on it. He's a redshirt junior out of American Heritage High in Miami.
He almost undercut that flat route. He'd have got that. The show would have walked into the end zone for 6. Great recognition by Fair.
Second down now. Straight ahead, they hand the ball off, and they run it with Parsons. A gain of about 6 on the play. Make it 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Looked like Howard's going with Raymar Williams, the kid out of McNamara High School right out here in Maryland, a new quarterback in the game.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Junior out of Bowie, Maryland. And he's back to pass. Throws, and here's Kyle Anthony with another reception, which gives him the record. He has the record. That is his 7th reception, so that set the record set by Flea Harrell between 90 and 93 here at Howard.
It didn't go on a first down. He probably would have wanted it to be a first down. But congratulations to that young man on an awesome career, for being the all-time leading reception in Howard University's football in their history. Probably caught the ball from about 20 different quarterbacks over his career.
Yes.
Wow, another punt that just goes straight up in the air. Why do this?
And it's down. They punt it from their own 20. It's down at the 37, so that's a 17-yard punt.
Yeah.
So he's had a 12-yard punt today and a 17-yard punt.
And to Gillespie's credit, he's not a punter.
He is not. He is not. The punter is supposed to be Isaiah Moore, Jr. out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Gillespie punted 6 times against A&T a week ago.
What would you like the power to do?
And there ain't nothing working. Along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal here in the booth on the campus of Howard University at Green Stadium. 13:33 is the time remaining in this one. And now a 1st and 10 for North Carolina Central, leading 14-0.
Oh.
And there's a delayed handoff and trying to get to the outside. And running is Jordan Freeman. Freeman at the 5, and Freeman will take it in all the way.
Wow.
40, make that 27 yards.
I tell you what, he fumbled.
37 yards.
Yeah, he fumbled the snap. Then he got it to him, and then he went inside, and he bounced outside. And Howard defenders didn't quite know where he was. He bounced it, walked in the end zone.
So that's the backup running back, Jordan Freeman, Jr., redshirt out of Charlotte, North Carolina, went to Garinger High, and here's the point after to make it 21-0, and it is good. And just like that, one play, 37 yards. They go into the end zone.
You just don't want something like that to happen. You want them to at least try to earn it if they're going to score. But those one-play drives like that just kind of take the wind out of your sail, so to speak. And now, you got to get the ball back. You're down 21-0 at home, and you haven't been able to score a lot of points this year. And this is a tall order. Went to another quarterback who's probably a third stringer, and it's November. When coaches start losing in November and get dismal, you start thinking, well, who do we play first next season? You're
already looking at.
I think Howard's may be in one of those boats now where they start looking at next year. Who do we play? Looking at recruits and just starting to, transition into the off season because.
Well, you talk to both of these teams. They both have young teams.
Yeah.
And one of the things Trey Oliver said this week, he says he wants his team to have what they call a thermostat mentality. Not too high, not too low. When things go bad, you don't want to get too low. When you win, you don't want to get too high. But he's most proud of the way this team has come together as a team. He said one of the things they used to do, kickers would hang with kickers, linemen hang with linemen, and things of this nature. And now we go out of bounds.
He did it the last time. The kid has to have some kind of field awareness. If you're going to be back there, let's let it go out of bounds. At least you get the ball up here to 30, 35. You're going to catch it inside the 10 and then run out of bounds.
But he was saying, you know, now they come together as a team, not just kickers hanging with kickers and linemen with linemen. They all hang with each other. And that is a sign of the team coming together.
Yeah, and that tends to, you start noticing those type of things around October going into November, because either you're going to be looking to turn your equipment in or you're looking to make a championship run once November hits the calendar.
From the 8-yard line to Kyle Anthony coming to the near side.
First time he was able to get more than about 5 yards on that little hitch play. Good blocking by the receivers, and you know, I like to see Howard come out here and not just lay down. Just keep on fighting, throw it around, do what you got to do, try to get some points on them.
2nd down and 1. Straight ahead, and they get the first down, looks like, with Parsons on the carry. So that's the first down Howard has gained in quite a while.
Yeah, I mean,
especially in certain situations. Going with another quarterback back there. And again, Parsons continuing to carry the mail across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. And that's a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd and 3.
He's a good, tough, hard runner, you know.
Parsons, co-captain today, preseason first team, all-conference selection. 2 good running backs in this game, Parson and, of course, Totten. There's Parson again, getting a chance to stop and pick his hole before he's brought down by Deontay Fair. Team's number 3 tackler for North Carolina Central, along with Jerome Foster.
He got a few carries. They picked up 2 first downs right here.
And again, Parsons. And when you talk, you know, we were talking about Trey Oliver. You know, one of the things Ron Prince said is, despite the record, the kids are continuing to practice hard. They play hard. It's a young team. He said he feels that he's played 22 true freshmen this year in the course of the season. You know, and he encourages them to be aggressive. You know, you can be aggressive, but if you're going to make a mistake, make it aggressively.
Yeah.
That's the way he tries to instill in them what he wants them to do.
I'm surprised he didn't get a flag on that.
I know.
He just kind of made a great play now.
Deontay Fair.
Yeah, he made a great play, and then he crawled and swam and dove like he was in the snow. And, you know, but there was no call.
So it's 3rd down, 3rd and 11. Let's see what Raymar Williams can do right now. Back to pass. Throws it up there for Gillespie. Gillespie can't get to it, and it goes incomplete.
Yeah, that was great coverage. Justin Nicholson on the coverage. And Central has the number 1 defense, especially pass defense, and they stuffed it. You know, that's not much of a passing game where you just sit there and just say, I'm going to throw you a hitch route or I'm going to give a go route. I mean, there's not a lot of imagination in there. But, again, Central with the pass rush don't give you a lot of time to do much more besides throw a hitch or throw a goal.
Yeah.
You know?
Justin Nicholson a little slow getting up after that play to Gillespie. We talk about the quarterback, Raymar Williams. He's a sophomore out of McNamara High. Played in a couple of games this year. Played a couple games last year when Keanu Newton was the quarterback of record here at Howard. So to bring up a 4th down with the little officials timeout because of the injury. You see Nicholson walking off.
It's getting exciting here for 4th down. I mean, when Howard has to punt the ball, you just really don't know what's going to occur.
Punting from their own 30. The last punt covered 17 yards. This is the 9th time today that Howard has punted the ball. That's a much better punt this time. Codrington is going to let it go, and a flag goes down from the field judge.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe it's a hold or something.
Ball's dropped at the 15-yard line. Let's see what the field judge comes up with after that. That's Corey Berry with that throw. guys got some good arms, don't they?
Bryce Miller, the long snapper, I mean, he's getting his money's worth today. They're welling on him every time. You know, it takes him a long time to get down the field, but you know, they've assigned someone to him to hit him.
So the hold penalty was against North Carolina Central. It's a much better punt this time.
Well,
and their own 30 went all the way down to the 15 of North Carolina Central.
They're going to break now, and I tell you,
55 yards on that punt. Look at that. Well, we'll step aside. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Back here at Green Stadium, this game started out as a defensive battle with nobody scoring until 5.5 minutes left in the first half. And when North Carolina Central took a 7-0 lead, and no more scoring until the third quarter, they made it 14-0. And then here in the fourth quarter, they scored again to make it 21-0. It was tight in a 5-yard run. That was after a 12-yard punt by Howard gave North Carolina Central great field position. It was an 18-yard drive, and then Richard, a 39-yard pass to Collier that capped a 66-yard drive, and then Freeman's 37-yard run, which was a one-play, 1-yard drive, 37-yard drive, the last possession, North Carolina Central. Now it is 2nd down and 7 for the Eagles. Eagles trying to go 4-5 overall, 3-2 in conference play. Meanwhile, Howard, if this score holds up, will drop to 1-8 overall, 1-4 in the MEAC. Their only win coming against Delaware State earlier this year, 24-9. Kalen Newton was still a member of the team at that particular time. That was his last game as a member of the Bison team. He ran for a touchdown and threw 2 touchdown passes in that conference victory.
And they surely missed him, I can tell you that. Like we're going to have a 3rd down play to decline the holding penalty. And, you know, Central came out here and offensively, they were snapping that ball with about 25, 27 seconds on the play clock, but then with a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter, they're letting it kind of run down. Rightfully so.
9:10 to go. Coach Ron Prince said he hasn't had any trouble keeping his team focused. But one of the things he also emphasizes is success in the classroom, which is very important here academically for Howard University. He said you can't continue to be an athlete if you're gone. You can't attend classes.
I tell you, I think it's important at all schools. You know, matriculate academically. You know, you're going to either be ineligible, can't play, or you'll flunk out of school. So, but I know this is the Mecca, HU.
7th punt for North Carolina Central today. Dominic Logan Neely driven all the way back, and he'll be dropped right at about the 35, 36-yard line.
That was great coverage by Ryan McDaniel.
And a great punt.
Yeah, Ryan McDaniel. Oh, Sugar Land, Texas. I spent some time in Texas, Charlie. I know where
you were down in Prairie View.
Yeah, Sugar Land down there south of I-10. I've been down there a few times.
It's going to be against Howard, so it's going to move the ball back 10 yards. So instead of their own 36, they'll start from their own 26.
Ooh.
Which way are they going? The officials look a little bit confused here. Who's the holding penalty against? Is it against North Carolina Central or against Howard?
Corrected. Penalty will be, of course, from the end of the run. 1st down.
It was against Howard. But
well, I know they're looking the wrong way. I mean, they still don't know what they're doing. Yes. If the ball was fielded at the 36, where they are now, and it was against Howard,
Should be.
That'd be a 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. It should take it back to the 26-yard line. I mean, that's simple math, isn't it?
It seems to be. Maybe it was against Central, and they really want to give Howard these 10 yards. But nope.
Okay, they finally got it. I mean, if I can get it right up here.
Charlie, we've been thinking we've been right all day, so we're not in the striped shirts.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's not brain surgery on that situation.
No, that one was an easy one.
First down and 10 from their own 26-yard line. And the handoff to Parson, and he loses yards.
Wow.
Lost 3. It'll be 2nd and 13.
I tell you, I mean, he had a free runner. It said DeMontre Brown just came unblocked. This might be the easiest tackle of the day for him.
Williams back to pass. Incomplete. Almost picked off that time. And an opportunity for number 35 for North Carolina Central.
That's big Zach Simmons.
Come up with it, as was Zach Simmons, the linebacker out of Broward County, Florida.
A lot of these Florida boys in this ball game. I tell you what, I used to always go down there and like to recruit them boys from Florida. They can run and play hard all day long. That time he could have been dancing in the end zone. Yep, another 3rd and long for Howard.
12 carries, 28 yards for Parsons today. So he's had a rough day.
Looked like Trey Oliver with the interception. I mean, he had
He was a defensive back.
Yeah, he gained the players ran behind him. I thought he was going to dance in the end zone on that one. Good to have fun over there. I love it. It's hard to win football games. When you get a chance to get you a win and get up, why not enjoy it?
He was a punter also while he played at North Carolina Central. You know, his dad played there. Played for, what was the coach's name that he played for? His dad played for Herman Riddick.
Okay.
Yeah, Herman Riddick. And, you know, Trey is one of 3 coaches who played at North Carolina Central to come back and coach there. Here's Codrington. And that's the number that Codrington has on. That's the number Trey Oliver wore at North Carolina Central, number 31.
Wow.
That's why he likes that kid.
What a segue. That's awesome.
He said when he came and got the job, he wanted to know who the trainer was going to give number 31 to. It was that freshman Codrington, and he's so happy he did. There's a timeout on the field. 21-0 our score. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network.
Blissful state of doneness. So let's get after it. What would you like the power to do?
5, 4, 3.
Along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal in the booth here at Green Stadium. 8:07 the time remaining. And a 21-0 lead for North Carolina Central, threatening once again with the ball in Howard territory and the handoff to Freeman going left. He scored the last touchdown for the Eagles of North Carolina Central. They came into the season. They lost their season opener to Austin Peay, 41-10. They lost to number 8 Towson, lost to Gardner-Webb, and then beat Elizabeth City, Morgan State, lost to Florida A&M by 7, lost to Bethune-Cookman 37-13, beat Delaware State a week ago, 30-23 in a game that they forced 4 turnovers. And Codrington, that young man we spoke about on that punt return a moment ago, had a 75-yard kickoff return with just 38 seconds left that gave them the win because Delaware State had just scored on the previous possession with 50 seconds left, and Codrington brought back the ensuing kickoff 75 yards. And they're running the ball, keeping it on the ground. That is North Carolina Central using up some clock.
Yeah, I didn't know they even had the huddle in their repertoire, but it looks like they brought in Micah Zanders as the backup quarterback. Looks like he's going to get some reps. They up by 21-0 in the fourth quarter. They made this bus trip up from Durham, so hey, let's get everybody in, make sure you get some playing time.
Yeah, Zanders, a redshirt junior from Range High in Jacksonville, Florida. Transferred in from Hines Community College. Played 3 games so far this year. Has thrown only no touchdowns, an interception. Started the first 3 games of the 2017 season, but had a season-ending injury against South Carolina State and was redshirted last year, did not play, and he's running to the right this time, turns the corner, gets inside the 15 and down to the 11-yard line and a first down.
Well, of course, there's going to be a flag on the play.
Yeah, holding. And the referee himself threw that one.
I tell you.
So that moves it back outside the 30-yard line. Third down and 15. Make it 14. Third and 14 for North Carolina Central. Clock is their friend right now. 6:10 to go. You mentioned earlier Howard University. Average giving up 58 points the first 3 games of the season. Coming into today's game, they gave up an average of 58 points the last 3 games. And that great catch down inside the 5-yard line for a first and goal. And look at the hands on that young man who came up with that reception.
Looks like they brought Richard back in to throw the third down pass. Yeah. Great strike down the seam route.
That was Deshaun Stevens. I watched these kids in practice. They were practicing catching with one hand. You know, if you take my one hand away from me, I'm going to still come up and catch it. You're doing, what's that kid's name that plays with the Browns now?
Odell
Beckham. OB.
OBJ.
Keeping the ball on the ground.
He's not doing much catching at all these days.
No, he isn't. Richard is back in the lineup right now.
Mookie Collier.
Collier's behind him, and Collier has the ball. Collier's in the end zone. Touchdown, North Carolina Central.
Yeah, they came to D.C. and putting it on the Bisons today.
And this drive started at the Howard 28-yard line, so it's only a 28-yard drive. So in the second half, 6 possessions for North Carolina Central, 3 touchdowns, 2 punts, and a fumble. And that one is good. And it's 28-0. Howard University down with 4:50 to go in the contest.
Yeah, it looks like a tall order for Howard to bounce back. I don't know if they had an offensive possession where they actually drove the ball in, past the 50 or over the 40. I mean, it just seems like they've been punting all day. They've been in their own way. A lot of mistakes offensively, and it really has hurt them in this ball game. And
they have not gotten into Norfolk State territory in the second half.
Yeah, North Carolina Central's, yeah.
I mean, North Carolina Central's territory in the second half. They got to the 35 on their first possession of the game, turned it over on downs. They got to the 36, turned it over on downs. They got to the 36 again and punted. They got to the 46 and punted, and that was before the half, but not the second half at all.
Yeah, North Carolina Central defense has been awesome today. They've controlled this football game and given their offense a chance to score. And you give them the mistakes of Howard and the special teams woes of Howard, and NC Central has capitalized on all of those.
4:50 to go in the contest. Dominic Logan Neely on the return. Correction, that's Parsons on the return, isn't it?
Well, that's 1-1. That's Ailey.
Oh, Ailey.
Yeah.
Correction, Ailey, number 11, on the return. So they're mixing it up, trying to create some kind of...
Get someone out there that can make a big play. I mean, that's what they lack. They just lack big plays right now. There's little to no explosion from the players. Limited imagination offensively, and the defense they played admirably, but you can't continue to put your defense, in a hole when the team have short field to drive for points. I mean, it'll weigh you down after a while, and that's what seems to have happened to Howard University today.
Raymar Williams stays in at quarterback, keeps the ball on the ground, and trying to bounce outside and make something happen.
Yeah,
is Crute.
That was an exciting 1 yard gain. I tell you, I mean, a lot of breaking tackles, kids running with passion. But when you got 10, 11 guys running to the football, trying to make something happen, you know, and that's what NC Central's defense is doing right now.
And here's Ailey on a little inside screen, but that didn't go very far. Maybe 2 yards on the play, and it'll be third down. And we'll call it 6.
They tried to run a little bubble screen out there, man. The defensive lineman, they retraced so well. He started to run in there and said, oh, no, let me turn around and get out of there and, you know, gain 2 yards on the tunnel screen. It's just, I'm very impressed with this defense.
Here's the quarterback. He's going to take off and run with it. Trying to turn the corner, gets a block from Crute, and gets the first down across the 45 to the 47-yard line. So Raymar Williams out of Bishop McNamara High picks up the first down for the Bison. Gillespie comes to the sideline.
Heads up play from the quarterback. He was able to get outside the containment for one of the few times today. And he was able to get around there and pick up a first down. Good run.
3:15 the time remaining. 28-0. Howard University trying to avert a shutout. Here's a pass to Crute, who dropped it. Had it in his hands and had a blocker out in front of him.
Yeah.
And just could not hold on. Brandon Johnson, the guard, was out there pulling and had the head of steam, going to knock down some people for him.
Yeah, it was a nice screen. It was constructed very well. They was able to get the rush up there, and another drop pass for him.
Second down and 10.
Oh, Murphy's Law is creeping there.
North Carolina Central a year ago was 5-6 overall, 3-4 in the conference. Today's win will put them at 3-2 in conference play. And again, they keep the ball on the ground, a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards for the Bison. The ball is across midfield at the 49 of North Carolina Central. 2:45 the time remaining. Clock continuing to run. Howard University will be at South Carolina State next week.
Woo.
Then they play at Florida A&M.
Woo.
Then they close out the season here against Morgan State. So the hits just keep on coming, as they like.
Yeah, it does getting easier for these Bisons. I know they waited.
As Williams throws, has it complete.
Yeah.
And that was a nice little ad lib.
Yeah, he almost crossed that line of scrimmage, but he was able to see an open receiver downfield, and you know, now it's the deepest penetration they've seen all day. And I know NC Central want to preserve a shutout. That's important to them defensive coordinators. They love a shutout.
Yeah, they 7 points is the most that they've given up to in a win this year, or the least that they've given up, and they've got a catch on the near side. And again, here's Cornwell, the tight end, with the reception.
Yeah, Williams is showing some veteran leadership out there. He's getting outside the pocket, and what he's doing, he's pressing. He's putting the defenders in a bind. He would come up and tackle me or cover.
Steps up, throws in the end zone, incomplete. Flag. Let's see who the flag is on. Is it on the defender or on the offensive? It's going to be on the defender. So they're going to put the ball 15 yards down the field.
Wow. That's an interesting call, Charlie.
No, I think what happened was the defender realized that he was beaten, though the ball was coming, and he turned around. As he's turning, he pushed the receiver away.
I took my glasses off for a second. I thought the offensive guy pushed him. He turned around.
Well, last time we were here, the offensive player got a touchdown by pushing off.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Maybe, the sun is blocking us. Maybe they are blocked by the sun as well. But Howard is pressing to end this shutout.
Here's Williams back to throw. Has some room, steps up, and he's going to go down at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, that counts as a sack. Yeah.
Second down.
I tell you what, John, I don't expect NC Central's defense to sit back. I expect them to come after Howard. They're too close for a shutout. And Howard has pride. They don't want to be shut out. They want to score.
There's Crute. Crute takes the ball, tries to turn the corner. He's down to the 5. Touchdown, Howard University, with Hosea Crute, his 3rd rushing touchdown this year.
Well, they did get on the board. Good run by Crute. Was able to break one tackle and get into the end zone.
With 55 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter, this was kind of resembles last week's game for North Carolina Central when Delaware State scored with 58 seconds to go, and the Codrington ran the kickoff back. Here's the point after, and this one is
no good. Why not go for 2, Coach? I mean,
it was Ailey with the PAT.
Another receiver, the kicker. You got a receiver that's punting. You know, so well, we did get some points. It was 59 minutes and 5 seconds, but they did get some points.
28-6. So last week Howard put up 6 points against North Carolina A&T, the number 18 ranked team in the nation. They put up 6 today. They have to face South Carolina State next week, and then FAMU, the number 17 team right now. A&T is ranked 16th in the nation. Florida A&M ranked 17 at this particular juncture.
Yeah, and I mean, it's already tough that they have to play them, but they got to travel to Orangeburg and Tallahassee. It's nothing like traveling to those places, 8, 12-hour trips. You got one win on the season.
I hope they go fly.
Even if you're traveling, you're flying, you got one win. You got to go 10, 12 hours from home. You know, Thanksgiving break coming up. Man. Yeah, they got a lot of things. And then they're going to kick an onside kick. What are you talking about?
North Carolina Central has no problems recovering.
Hopefully we take a knee or 2 and we'll be done. But
so they'll get the ball at the Howard University 47. So Howard avoids the shutout. North Carolina Central, though, with the ball in this game well in hand with 55 seconds to go on a 22-point advantage. 3-score lead.
I don't see a victory formation, Charlie. What do you think is going to happen? Hopefully they just hand it off and we get out of here.
And again, we got Zanders in the lineup there for North Carolina Central, the backup quarterback.
There's one more snap. Play clock is under 30.
So now we look more like a victory formation than anything else, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess that's
just from a shotgun
victory. Someone who loves stats as much as Coach Ware, you don't want to lose 6 yards on a victory stat. You know, let's go ahead and just get under the center and say that in yardage.
Well, that's going to wrap it up here at Green Stadium in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. The final score, North Carolina Central 28, Howard University 6. The Eagles go to 3-2 in conference play and 4-5 overall, while the Bison of Howard falls to 1-8 overall, 1-4 in the conference. We'd like to thank you for watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. For Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal saying so long from Green Stadium in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. Again, the final score, 28-6, North Carolina Central over Howard. This has been a presentation of ESPN. So long, everyone.